Well, hey, everyone. Welcome to the Beyond Battlecreek podcast. My name is Jeff Henry, and I am the campus pastor at Midtown. And today I'm joined by my friend,
Keith Walker, campus pastor at South Tulsa. So glad to be here and to be able to spend some time together here in the Bat Cave, apparently, at the Broken Arrow campus.
For sure. I mean, I would say that's kind of like a dungeon. Like it's a secret room. They lock
dark.
the doors. They turn off the air conditioning.
Yeah, I feel like I'm hunkered down.
This is where magic happens.
Magic
apparently.
happens when you're hunkered down.
Keith, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm nervous as all get out, to be honest with you.
Really?
I'm so uncomfortable right now. It's not even funny. I can't tell you how many people I've talked to over the last couple of days and said, hey, how do I get through this? Like, what do I do? And they're like, hey, you talk all the time. Like, you're going to be just fine. And I was talking to Pastor Alex yesterday, and I just said, hey, Pastor, you need to pray for me tomorrow. I'm doing a podcast. He says, you're going to be fine. You're going to talk. I said, Pastor, you know what happens to me after talking for 5 minutes? And he was like, yeah, we need to start praying right now for Jesus to protect us from what happens after 5 minutes. So, but no, I'm excited, but I'm nervous.
I don't know why you're nervous. Like you have no problem talking. In fact,
Yeah.
you usually just speak your mind, tell it like it is.
Yeah,
And
hence where the nervousness comes in. Yeah. After a while.
Shout out to the production guys that are putting this on.
Yes.
They've been really good. These have been great. I've loved listening to both episodes so far. We've been getting to know a little bit of our campus pastors and maybe a little bit of their story that they haven't had to share. And so I hope that Battlecreek, wherever you're listening to this, that you start to learn about our faith family at all 6 campuses. It's been really cool.
It's been awesome for us, as you walk through a time like this, to have a circle of people that you're doing life with. I feel like, you and Lucas and Josiah and the others, it's like we get to be together every week. We get to check on each other. Even this morning, Matt sending us all an encouragement, just to kind of be there for each other. But I think one of the cool things is for people getting to know other people through this. And you and I've gotten to know each other a little bit over the last year or so. And your story is cool. We got to spend a little bit of time on the golf course playing golf a couple of times, which, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, he's a real deal golfer. I just like to play with him because I learn something every time. And he has this great habit, the towel. You wear a towel over your shoulder all the time, and you're always cleaning
clubs.
Clubs and the grip. Grip's important, right?
For sure. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm open to all invitations to play.
Yes, absolutely. Well, tell some of your story. I mean, we have something in common in that neither one of us are from here. As far as Oklahoma, we moved here for different reasons. My wife is actually originally from here. But you literally moved here to come and be a part of Battlecreek Church and to serve here. And so just tell some of your story so we can get to know you a little bit better.
I'll give you like the Reader's Digest, like short version. Like it's been almost a year. We just celebrated a year at Midtown.
That's awesome.
I don't know when you become true Okies. Like, is it 2 seasons of tornadoes? Because this past week we had a tornado warning.
2 weekends. 2 weekends.
Our first week here, like we had 3 like in 1 week. It was ridiculous, but apparently that's normal. People put lawn chairs out on their front porches and wave to it as it goes by.
And you have to post a picture afterwards.
It's been amazing. But we've been here a year, and we came from Tennessee, the Nashville area, just north of Nashville, Hendersonville. Shout out to Johnny Cash and Taylor Swift from Hendersonville as well. Marty Stewart, just famous people.
Yeah, my nephew Zach lives in Nashville. Yeah, so shout out to Zach.
Yeah, listen, Nashville's a great city, but we were at a church for 15 years, almost 15 years doing student ministry. Fun fact, I led worship in my first ministry gig.
Really?
For the first 4 years. Yeah, led worship. And then God called me into a pastoral role where I became a middle school pastor, where for the next 11 years, led middle schoolers and their families, 6th to 8th grade. So one of my former middle schoolers, my former students, was a youth pastor at the Midtown campus, and they were looking for a campus pastor. He called me and said, "Hey, come be an interview for the job." And I was like, "I'm not moving to Oklahoma. Why would I move to the armpit of the country?" Right? I was so judgmental. But anyway, through a series of just a really long story of God laying out some incredible landmarks in my life. God led us here. It was a calling, and so we came. Love Battlecreek Church. As we started to like investigate and watch and see and hear what God is doing, it was amazing to see the favor of God, the hand of God, the reach of ministry. And so it's been incredible. Love our campus, love our church, love the band of brothers and our campus pastors. And so it's interesting how God will take us. I grew up in Arkansas, Mississippi, Tennessee, and then to come over here to Oklahoma, which is not the armpit of America. It's a beautiful country.
It's gorgeous.
We love it. I want anybody that listens to this that doesn't live in Oklahoma, don't move here. All right, we have enough people. It's amazing as it is, but it's been great. So, what about you?
Well, I got to ask you one thing first.
A follow up? Okay.
Yeah, I got to.
Okay, go ahead. You can
tell me about your family, about your wife and your kids, and I know we're going to get into a little bit about some of the things been going on lately, but just share a little bit about your family.
Yeah, I'm married to Rachel for 13 and a half years.
That's awesome.
Yeah, 13 is like that lucky number, right? Like if I can hit 13. We met in college, and we both moved around in ministry together. She's wonderful. She's my best friend. She's a therapist by trade, and so I kind of got like a built-in.
That's really helpful for you.
Super helpful. Yeah. And sometimes like I know she's like laying it on me. I don't even know. Like it's just probably just a good encouragement. But we have 3 awesome kids, 2 girls, 8 and 6, and then a little dude who's 18 months old. So, and that's our family. It's a nonstop circus, I feel like. It's great. It's
all your kids exactly the same personality? Is there a variety?
Oh no, each one is so different. And that's what's been great about quarantine and isolation and stuff is I've got to see more of their personalities that I would have never seen been at home. But that's my family. My wife does some telehealth, and she's got a practice here, and we're just juggling family and work and friends. So.
And I know I mentioned golf a while ago, but
yeah.
I feel like you told me how did you get playing golf? Like,
yeah,
growing up, there was a neat story behind
Northeast Arkansas. My grandfather lived about 20 minutes away in a small town, and a town of about 1,200 people, and there was a 9-hole country club. And a country club, I use that word.
Yeah, it was in the country.
It was very country in the club, but I grew up just in whacking at that ball in a pasture course, and grew to love it. Grew the time with him. He was a great instrument to God using me to come to know Jesus as my Savior. A lot of great memories on the golf course. And so I grew up playing and loved it. My dad plays, my granddad played when he was alive. And I just started playing in middle school and high school and ever since. So it is a fun way to connect with the Lord and creation, but also just in a really fast-paced job in society. It's fun to kind of go out and just kind of pace for a little bit and slow down. So
that's good. Well, I've enjoyed the times we've been able to.
It's been fun
to be together.
Let's do it again. What are you doing this afternoon?
Oh, I like it.
Let's go.
Sounds good.
I just think about your story, Keith. Like you are the longest tenured campus pastor.
I think so.
Yeah.
As of today. Yeah. Who knows after
this
the podcast right?
isn't over.
I could walk into something.
No,
walk out.
But you haven't always been a campus pastor. You've had several different roles in our church. Talk about, for the people who don't know you and how you got here, like kind of bring us into that origin of you being a part of our church.
Yeah. I'm a preacher's kid. So is my wife. Actually, my grandfather was a pastor as well. And he was the one in our family that kind of turned the tide. He had quite a salvation testimony, and then God led him into ministry, and then my parents followed, and my dad did as well. And it's been really neat to be raised and to have that kind of heritage. I can't say that's what I was trying to pursue at the very beginning, but that is where God took me. And grew up in Texas. I actually kind of grew up all over the place. My parents were missionaries in Korea, and so spent some time in different parts of the world and states, and moved back here. And then I went off to school, and I graduated from high school, and I'll be honest with you, I kind of bounced around to a couple of different schools, wasn't really sure what I was going to do, and ended up in a little school in Springfield, Missouri, and got a chance to play basketball there, which was one of my passions back then. And that's where I met my wife, who is from Broken Arrow and graduated from Broken Arrow High School. And so we met in college, we got married, one of those kind of whirlwind things that happens in college, And so like we went on our first date in September, we got engaged in February, we got married in August, and, living in the married dorms, and our oldest son, Josh, was 2 weeks old on our first anniversary. And if you do the math, it does work. It's okay. Okay. It does work out.
It is in order.
It is in order. But so we started in the ministry after I got out of school eventually. And we did that for like 4 or 5 years. And then that came to a stop. And when that ended, we were at a church in California. We actually moved back to here to be close to my wife's family. And I actually went to work for a company here in town called the Bama Companies, and ended up working there for 15 years.
Wow.
And was just a great, incredible experience in my life. So many friends, and actually we've all been texting with each other during this time, and just been good to check in on them, and just to we still connected to each other. But we started going to church at Battlecreek, and real close to the beginning. I can't say we were a part of the 120, but we were probably a part of the first 600 or 700.
In the early days.
Yeah, the early days.
Wow.
In the old worship center and the low ceilings, and just so exciting to have been a part of all of that growth. And a few years after we'd been here, Pastor Alex gave me the chance to come on to the team. And so joined, and you're right. Yeah, I've gotten to be a part of a lot of different things over the years, and actually got to be a part of our campus in Chicago when that was going on. That's and cool. I got to be a part of Midtown in a small degree when we first launched it, and it's just been awesome just to see all the things that we've gotten to be a part of. I got to be a part of the worship experience at one point.
Shout out! You used to lead worship.
It's incredible. I still want to lead worship, and they just turned me down all the time.
Have you seen our caliber of worship though?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. I've mentored many of them. Yeah. In so many different ways. And so that's been good. But yeah, it's awesome. I love the church. I fell in love with this church before I ever had the opportunity to come and be on the staff, and so thankful, to be on the team and get to be a part of what we're walking through. And Alex has been such a huge part of my life, and a friend, a pastor, mentor, and it has made such an impression on me. Being a part of, you think through 15 years plus of being here at the church, and all the sermons I've gotten to listen to and to let pour into my life, and that's just been huge. And for my family, Jennifer's my wife. We've been married for 30 plus years.
Wow.
And we have 3 kids, Josh, and he's the oldest. Justin is our middle son, who's actually living in Oklahoma City right now. We haven't physically seen him in a month and a half.
Sure.
And so we're going to get to see him here pretty quick, which is going to be awesome. And he has a daughter, Lana, and so our only granddaughter. So that's a huge part of our life. And then Jessica is my princess. She's the youngest, and she's getting ready to have a birthday here pretty soon. But they're all in their late 20s. We're empty nesters, and we love it. And we love our granddaughter comes every weekend to our house. We are those grandparents. We do all the things with her that we wouldn't let our kids do.
For sure.
And so she rides the bike through the house, right? And all around through the house. And we love it, and we encourage it. And we just have a great time with each other. And, popsicles, they solve anything. And so, it'll fix anything.
A Band-Aid and a popsicle.
Oh, yeah. And it's a great breakfast.
Better.
It's a great lunch. It's a great dinner, whenever, whatever. So it's a good life.
That's awesome. Hey, new popsicle to try, the Sonic popsicles.
Okay.
Tastes like a cherry limeade or like the coconut water.
Yeah.
It's really good.
So you can drive through and get that.
You can.
Yeah.
You can. Get it right there.
It's open.
It's awesome, man. Great. So I have a toddler in my house, and you do too. Like a little monkey climbing on everything. And
she's coming to our house here in a little bit. And so I can't wait to be able to spend the weekend together. It's such an uplift.
I love it.
In our life. Hey, so talk about what all of this has been like for you and your family. And you actually can bring a whole nother element to this conversation. I actually have some friends who got the virus and got through it. We actually have another family friend who their dad was the 17th person to pass away here in the state of Oklahoma. Incredibly sad, but then he also got the virus and ended up in the hospital for 10 days on a ventilator, just got home, and it just kind of huge thing. But I mean, nobody super close to me, like nobody in our immediate family has gotten sick, but that's not true for you. You got to share a little bit of what you guys have walked through.
Yeah, this has been a roller coaster of a quarantine for our family. I mean, I don't know if I've shared this publicly yet. It's just an amazing start. The first Sunday we did Battlecreek Church online. We're all in our living room, and Pastor Alex is sharing salvation. He's praying, and after the prayer, my 6-year-old turns to me and says, "Daddy, I think I'm ready to be a Christian." Now, I had been a youth pastor for a long time. My kids have grown up listening to invitations to come to know Jesus every week. And so they've mentioned things like that, but you kind of wait for the Lord to prompt you. And I didn't feel the Lord prompting my heart. I said, we'll talk about that. We'll continue to learn what that means until you're ready. My wife looks at me and she said, I think there's something in her heart that's changed. There's something that's made her heart soften and tender. And so we started talking about it, and sure enough, man, she knew Jesus, and he died for us and our sin and redemption. And I'm like, you're 6 years old. But I started remembering a mentor of mine said, you come to Jesus with as much knowledge of Jesus as you have. And she knew the gospel. It was so simple and it was so pure. And Jesus said, come to know me as little children. And sure enough, like on our couch that day after the service, she prayed with us and received salvation and gave her life to Christ in whatever way a sixth grader can. It was so pure and beautiful and simple. So we were riding this wave of a roller coaster of like, wow, God, you've got something for us, and we're just digging in. And then Easter Sunday, my wife hadn't been feeling well for 4 or 5 days, temperature, not herself. And she goes to the urgent care, and sure enough, she's got pneumonia in 2 spots in her lungs, caused by the coronavirus. And so
when you first heard that, like, what happened inside of you?
Oh, my heart dropped, because they were talking about like hospitalization and like taking her by ambulance to the hospital immediately. And like, I'm like, okay, y'all need to hold up for just a second. And so I called a friend of mine at our campus who's a doctor, and he said, hey, I think there's maybe a different way we could approach this. And so we all chatted with a doctor at the urgent care, and they said, hey, you can go home and recover. We give you a lot of antibiotics to get through the pneumonia. But I wasn't with her. I was with the kids, and so she's alone. They wouldn't let anybody go back with her anyway. So as a husband, a protector and provider, my heart just dropped. Like we're affected. We're a part of it. And it was really scary, but comforting words from the doctor said, hey, you're going to be fine. You're not at risk. There's no other adverse, illnesses that you're working through. Some antibiotics and some time, you should recover.
So I'm seeing stories on, today's show, Good Morning America, and you're seeing stories these people have had to isolate, and they're literally talking to each other through glass doors, and sliding stuff under doorways. And by the way, we just got to say to our medical professionals
Shout
and all
out
the people,
to them,
oh my gosh,
sure.
Thank you for all that you're doing, and moms and dads who are at home taking care of these kids, man, you are the heroes,
rock stars
in all of this. We're
Yep.
so thankful for each and every one of you. But was that y'all's story? Like, are you literally passing notes under the, what's going on?
For sure, not as extreme as that, but I remember whenever the doctor said, hey, she's going to have to isolate for 10 days. Like, it just, the fear just swept over my body.
So were you worried about her at that point, or were you worried about you?
I was worried about me.
Oh, absolutely.
Think about this.
Yes.
You got 3 kids, 8, 6,
gosh.
and 18 months that you'd have to school, feed, clean, keep the house, and some working. Or you're all the things. And so for me, I've trained for I've done weekends away where Rachel goes away, but this was like.
Did you just say you trained for this?
I had trained for a weekend away.
Oh my
You can get through that, but then we're talking about 10 days. That's a marathon. That's years. That's months of training that I just wasn't prepared for. And so it was an immediate green light, go. And the first, we take her meals on trays. I told her, she kind of called me the butler. She's like, she would text me what she wanted to eat or if she wanted a cup of coffee or whatever. And I'd just bring it to her.
Wow.
We'd wave at her at the door with little masks on that we'd decorate. It was real cute, and the kids loved it. 3 or 4 days is okay.
Yeah.
Day 5 and 6 were really tough because then, I've still got 7 more days of this. I've got 6 more days of this, and she's feeling better. She wants to get out.
Yeah.
So it was really, really hard. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It was one of the most difficult things I've done as a dad. I remember day 5, I just was the breaking point. Any kind of long distance running, you hit what's called the wall, right? Where you've depleted all the energy in your body that it starts, it almost kind of shuts down. And you got to push through because there's a wave of more endorphins and stuff that comes after that, where it pulls from other parts of your body. But I think it's glycerin in your body's been depleted. And so for me, that was the day. And I remember being the most impatient, losing my cool, just nothing was hitting on all cylinders. And so we just punted school for whatever we had to do today. We said, we're just going to go out and play. And it was a day, I remember looking back at that day, was a defining moment for me because I realized that I had not gotten in the Word. I'd not prepared for this.
Yeah.
It was just a day that I realized all the things I had stayed up late because I wanted to watch a movie. I wanted to have some me time. I wanted to decompress, and I had a kid get up way earlier than normal. And so like all these things are happening. I wasn't rested. I wasn't equipped. I didn't put on the armor of God. And it was the worst day.
Yeah.
And God showed me a lot of things about myself in that. So yeah, 10 days of isolation, and we made it through.
Anything your wife has shared as that from that her side of the door?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, she heard a lot from the Lord.
Wow.
She read a lot. She, you probably could just get on Netflix and just waste 10 days, But it was one of these things where she said she heard the most, she journaled the most, she kind of reconnected in a really needy way. And I think for her was able to reset a lot of things, her body and her emotions and her mental state reset. And, it was good. It was hard, but it was good for her. In all these trials, God has something for us, And so we survived. I mean, I need a shirt that says "I survived quarantine, isolation."
Absolutely.
A few more gray hairs, a few more wrinkles, but
wow,
it's all good. So thanks
all
for
right,
asking.
Segue.
Can I pause? She's doing great, by the way. If you're listening to this podcast, she's making a full recovery. Went to the doctor. Everything is good, and God will protect my kids from all the bad memories of that. Hopefully.
Yes, remember that time? It happens, man. I'll tell you, your kids get in their 20s. Some days you're going to be sitting around and having a conversation. Hey, Dad, remember that time when? I'm like, no, I don't remember that at all.
That didn't happen. Actually, you made that up.
Yeah, that wasn't me. Yeah, I was the one in isolation. Yeah, goodness gracious. Yeah. Hey, so segue here.
Sure.
Let's do something kind of fun as a segue.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So I like to play a little game called LMNOP.
LMNOP.
Okay.
The part of the alphabet that we all slur at some point.
Yes, LMNOP. Right.
LMNO.
And so I'm going to ask you a series of questions around those letters, LMNOP. I'm going to give you two options, and I want you to choose the thing that best represents you. Okay? Are you ready?
I guess.
So we're going to start with L, right? LMNOP. All right. So L, lemon or lime?
Oh, lime.
Okay. M, mustard or mayo?
Mayo. Miracle Whip would be a better option in that.
Okay.
Not
We could do a whole segment on that.
Mayo's nasty by itself.
All right. So mustard.
Yeah. Miracle Whip.
Oh, Miracle Whip.
Miracle Whip.
Okay. But no mustard.
No mustard.
Okay. Got me confused. Which happens periodically at my age. Netflix or the news?
Oh, Netflix.
Okay. OU or OSU?
TU, baby. Go Tulsa.
Oh,
Let's
man.
Let's go.
He's not playing the game.
Oh, no way, man. You're in the middle of, it's a divide. I'm not going to, Arkansas is my team.
Yeah.
So nobody, there's not a lot of people that root for Arkansas.
I was so nervous about what hat to wear today. And so I brought different.
If you're listening, Keith just did a wardrobe change.
Yeah, I did.
Took off a,
some people would call it a malfunction, but it's okay.
Longhorns hat.
I do have my Longhorns hat on.
Nasty orange color.
Yeah, I wear this
brown,
in the garage.
orange. It's like it just got dirty and they didn't wash it.
All right, you ready to pee? You ready for pee?
Yeah, let's go pee.
Okay.
Do you need to go?
No,
take a
I'm
break?
good. It's been a long time, but I'm okay.
Normally you're the one.
Pizza or pasta?
Oh, pizza for sure.
Okay. Any place in particular in town? If you say Little Caesars, the interview's over. Like we're out of here.
No, for sure. As a youth pastor, I didn't eat pizza for years afterwards. But
if you're a part of our church and you have a Little Caesars, I didn't mean what I just said. It's a great place.
I love Little Caesars, by the way. Pizza.
Yeah.
Our kids love Hideaway Pizza. It's they got a lot on the menu for all of us. It's right there by the house. East Village Bohemian. I don't know if they just call it pizza place.
Sounds delicious.
Fantastic, by the way.
I like it.
They have this pizza that's it's called the 3 Ps while you're on the P.
Yeah.
It's like your pepperoni. It's like prosciutto, pepperoni, and something. It's amazing. It's wood fired. It's good. But I would say just our regular go-to. Shout out to Hideaway. Let's go.
Yeah, gotta love it.
Yeah.
There's an OSU connection there.
Oh.
Okay, you almost went there.
Can't wait to hear.
All right, let me ask you this. How have you been able to, so it's a little easier for me. I'm an empty nester.
Are you going serious again?
I'm going to go serious again.
No, I'm going to LMNOP.
Okay.
You, on the fly here.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, here we go. L.
Lime. Sorry, it's just.
I was going to say ludicrous or, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Lemon or lime, which one?
I'm going to go lime. I don't know what ludicrous is, but.
Ludicrous.
Yeah, ludicrous.
What do you think ludicrous means?
Crazy.
No, he's a rapper.
Is a rapper.
Luda. When
Ludicrous.
I was 13, I had my first love. Okay, never mind.
Does he ever sing with Garth? No.
That would be a great mashup, by the way.
I'm all in for
Garth.
that. Okay.
Oklahoma. M. Mustard or mayo?
Mustard.
Okay. That makes sense. That fits with your personality.
Yeah.
Spicy.
Yeah. No fat
Spicy.
either.
Yeah, no fat.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm all over the Miracle Whip. All right, in Netflix or news?
Oh man, it's really hard right now. And
Yeah.
because I feel like I've pretty much drained Netflix, but I'm gonna go with the news.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's good.
I'm gonna go with Netflix. There's some good cooking. The Chef. I don't know if you watched it, but
Yeah.
I like to cook and stuff.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Chef's Table is really good.
Yeah.
Makes me hungry.
Yeah.
OU or OSU? You have to pick one. I know
that's easy.
You're a
That's
Texas.
easy.
You're a
OSU.
OSU.
Actually, two of my kids went to state schools, and
Okay.
so yeah,
It's good.
yeah, OSU.
Pizza or pasta?
Oh gosh, I think I'm gonna go with pasta. I love pizza. I will eat tons of it, but I don't know, pasta's just a little bit more refined, and there's a little bit some stuff you can do with it. And there's different kinds.
What's your go-to pasta place in
Oh
Tulsa?
my
Tulsa
gosh.
area.
We kind of live a gluten-free life now, so it's a little bit.
There's some good options out there.
Yeah, there's a place at 91st and Yale. They're getting ready to open one up in Broken Arrow. It's slipping my mind right now. But
Have you heard of Fazoli's?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know if you're going to say Fazoli's.
No.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like any of those.
I don't. It's not very good. But
Over on Brookside, there's some great places. Mondo's.
Mondo's.
I love Mondo's.
Solid.
Yeah.
That's good.
But it's, yeah.
All right. Can I do something fun?
Okay.
Go
for it.
I'm going to play 2 truths and a lie.
2?
2 truths.
Okay.
One lie.
It might be easier for me to do 2 lies and a truth, but I can do it. I can do it. 2 truths and a lie. I'm
2
good.
truths.
Okay.
One
right.
lie. I'm going to go first. That way
Okay.
I'll give you time to think.
Okay.
Because I prepped this.
All right. I'm going to write.
2 truths and 1 lie.
Okay.
I don't know if I can admit this. I was a good liar as a kid.
I could see that actually.
I mean, my parents probably knew it. They just didn't. I
I've been
wasn't
in enough
trouble.
meetings where I could see that you could do that.
Mom, if you're listening to this, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Truth? That's a truth that you were a good liar?
No, I was just saying.
Oh, okay.
In
All right.
light of the game.
Okay.
Keith.
All right.
All right. Here we go. 2 truths and a lie. One time I was a part of a ventriloquist show.
Okay. All right.
I refused to fist bump Tiger Woods one time.
Okay.
And I have made 2 Fs in my life as a class grade.
All right. I'm going to say that, man, I could.
One of those is a lie.
I think the lie is the 2 Fs. I think that's the lie.
That's correct.
Oh,
that is true.
Yes.
That is not true. I've made 1 F.
I was going to say, I don't see you
One
making
F.
Fs. You're a
I
very
quit-
intelligent person.
I quit a college class in the middle. You couldn't withdraw.
Yeah.
I retook it, got an A.
Yeah.
F to A.
I could see you turning down Tiger Woods.
Graves to Gardens.
Yeah.
That was a funny story. I was at the Masters golf tournament, and we'd come back on the course after the rain delay, and there's nobody around. It's me and Tiger. I think Fluff was his caddy at the time, and me and my buddy, and there's nobody else except like some officials. It was just a surreal experience. He hits his drive. I'm like from me to you, from him. We're walking side by side down the fairway, and he crosses past me, and he goes into a porta potty. And I thought, I'm just like, what is happening? Like, he was in a rain delay for like hours, right? And Tiger, if you're listening, like, I don't judge you, you know what I mean? Yeah. But he comes out of the porta potty, and I don't know to stand like at the outside or not. Like, I don't want to be awkward and like the weird guy that watches him or stands there. But I'm kind of close by. He gets done. I say, "Hey, Tiger, go get him." I practiced that while he was like, "What am I going to say to Tiger?" Like, he's one of the goats, right? And so, like, he comes out and he like gets real close to me and he reaches his hand out to fist bump me. And immediately, like, I wasn't starstruck. I was like, "Okay, you're a dude and you just went potty. You need to wash your hands."
And you're not good with
I'm not
germs.
fist bumping you.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, I got kids. So
Yeah.
anyway, I didn't fist bump Tiger. But I was also a part of a ventriloquist show.
Okay.
It's on the interwebs
right.
somewhere. So
I got that.
Anyway.
For me, you want mine?
2 truths.
Okay. Drove a Trans Am in high school. Went skydiving for my 40th birthday. Sang Garth Brooks' song "The River" at a wedding of a WWF wrestler.
All right. Truth, you did drive a Trans Am.
I did.
Truth, you did sing Garth.
I did sing Garth.
Yeah, let's go. Oh, I love it. What was the lie then?
I did not jump
You did
out of
not
an. I
jump
would
in.
never jump out of a
Your wife
perfectly
would
good
not let you
airplane.
drive
No way.
out of a-
I'm not
Especially
doing
at
that.
40. Like you had a lot of
No.
good earning potential
Yeah,
for
still,
the
yeah.
next 30
Yeah,
years. Thanks for playing along.
All right. So for all of us, it's, it's been hard to do some of the normal things we do in life. I would think as a dad trying to take care of kids and all that kind of stuff, a quiet time is not easy with everything you've been responsible for, especially during that time when your wife was isolated. Have you been able to stay connected to God during all of this, and advice that you would share?
Yeah. I mean, it's been, you would think with most people are saying we've got the most time we've ever had. Well, it's not true for me in our life. I mean, my wife's trying to work from home as well. I'm trying to work. Our kids need it. And so, it's been more, the day has been more busy than ever, and more needs than ever that we're both trying to tend to. And I would say it's been harder, and I'll just be honest, I haven't pressed into the Lord as much as I should. I haven't gone to the well as much as I should, but I have been daily reading the Psalm. And that's kind of been the one thing. I've read a couple books, but I've been getting into a psalm every day, which has kind of been the one thing. I've been just trying to hold on to simple truths. It's kind of a reoccurring theme in my life where God will bring back to mind a simple truth that I've kind of forgotten or that I don't use to walk out. And so for me, those psalms have been so good and meaningful to me. And so that's kind of been the word. I love Paul David Tripp. He's kind of my devo, like to get into somebody who can help unpack scripture. But just a psalm a day. It's kind of what I've been doing. And I'm not running through it. I'm not sprinting. It's just kind of a soak it in.
Yeah.
While the kids are watching a morning TV show, I'm trying to, slam a cup of coffee, get this in front of me.
Do you have a spot that you go to, a place to read? Or?
Our dining room's kind of a little bit out of the loop. And so, again, early in the morning, everybody's, the youngest isn't up yet. The two girls are watching a show or something, and my wife's probably just waking up. And I can steal 20 minutes around that time. But then when they're all up, it's green light, go. There's somebody needs something, you got to get going. And so, but yeah, what about you, man? Like, how have you been pressing into the Lord?
I have a spot at my house. I have a place that I go to, and I usually do the 1 year Bible. Alex told us, good gosh, 15 years ago, he challenged us to read, and I've done it every year since. And I've done that this year as well. But I found this thing called Read Scripture. It's part of the Bible Project. And there's also some really helpful videos that go with it when you jump into
they're
a
great.
book.
You sent me a couple. They were really good.
Yeah, and I'm right in the middle of the book of Acts right now. And then I also read a psalm a day as well. I'm in the 120s right now, which are the Psalms of Ascension, and remind us where our help comes from. And so for me, I do it in the morning. If I miss, I just try to find a time to just stop and pause.
Sure.
And to do that, it's helpful for me to have a place that I go to at the house. But, it's usually either my study at the house or out on the back porch,
for sure.
Which has been a good time for us. But it's been some good time with the Lord, and enjoyed reading. I found some new books to start, and have enjoyed that. And I challenge people, don't pause right now completely.
Sure.
Just be careful. If there's a spiritual point that I would want to drive home with people today is, we're told to stay away from other people, but don't let that stop you from telling other people about Jesus. We're in a time right now where people are struggling with their finances, but don't let that keep you from giving,
for sure,
and from sharing with others. And we don't know about tomorrow, but you can't stop growing, right? You got to keep getting better and getting stronger. And God's got something good coming out of this. I was talking to my kids on the phone just yesterday or the day before, and just thinking back even how things were for him 2 months ago and where he's at today, and I just said back to him, and in text after the phone call, isn't it crazy, how God really can work things together for good.
Sure.
We're in the middle of this time right now, and what's God going to do with it? And we're doing things that we never thought never thought we would do something.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought, right?
Yeah.
And online services, I've loved, Saturday night, 6 o'clock, Sunday morning, 9 o'clock and 11 a.m., and doing that, and people just getting online and sharing. And we got this young man from ORU who's a part of our worship team, during the year, and he's had to go home, lives in Missouri, but still he did a video yesterday that we posted on our Facebook page, just a time of worship and just all of that, happening, and God's growing us during this time. And I know change is coming here in the next month or so, whatever it might be. We don't know for sure. But, it's going to happen, and we're going to get back together, and this time's going to be behind us, and things are going to be different in the future. But we got to keep telling people, we got to keep giving, we got to keep growing as we go through it. And it starts with us spending time. Yeah.
I was thinking about my favorite show growing up was MacGyver. All right. It was this guy who was, I was a dorky kid, like I'm building things and breaking things down and figuring out how they work. But MacGyver was always able to take things in front of him and make something awesome out of it. Like take a box of matches and a pen, and he created like a bomb. I don't know how he did it. They obviously didn't show it because that would have been bad, but now we have the internet to teach us how to do things like that. But I just think about for us as a church, like we've MacGyvered a bunch of things together, like taken some of the best things about our church and put them together. And it's worked. Like to hear that the people are engaged, the reach is farther than what it has been. I mean, people's generosity and how they're meeting local needs through our church, through Care Portal, and how you'll send something out there and people jump on it.
Oh, and, it's been awesome.
People just say, hey, like I'll get out there, or I'll pray for you. I have this prayer team that meets, on Thursday nights, just warriors. People are using their resources to give. Can I tell a quick story about Midtown? I have a guy in our church, and he was listening to Pastor Alex one day, and he was saying he just heard the Lord say, do something with what you got. And he's a pharmacist. And so he went back to his pharmacy, and he compounded 500 bottles of hand sanitizer. And he gave them, he said, I want to give them to where the most need is. And Delmy, who runs our Care Portal right now, she said, I got a place, I got a healthcare facility that would love this. We were able to bless, hearing God's word, being obedient, using the resources in front of you, which didn't cost him a whole lot. Like he was just good at it, and he had it in front of him, and he used it for good, right? Like people who are making masks in Midtown to give to
it's been awesome to see.
It's been awesome, and like you don't have to reach deep and like pull out like all like your lifetime savings to help people. If God's calling you to do that, fantastic. But it's, hey, what's in front of you that God has called you to use in this season? It's been just amazing. So it's been really cool.
People have responded really well. You're talking about making masks. With a lady named Layla, who's made masks. I mean, she brought them to our house. Her husband did, and been doing it for other people. Goes to our campus. She also serves at downtown, does some translations work there when we're together. I've seen small group leaders. I drove up to the church the other day to do something, to get something. And our high school girls were in the parking lot, all spaced out with their high school leaders, doing a Bible study together, cool. Which was awesome. People just taking care of each other, responding to needs that other people have, taking them groceries. You talk about Care Portal. I get to be the one at our campus who sees the need and then posts it to activate the church, is what the button says, and I do that. And literally the other day I activated one, and like literally within minutes, I got an email back that the need had been met.
That's cool.
So it's just been seeing people take care of each other, and so, hey, as we wrap this up today, any final thoughts, any encouragement, anything that you would want to share to make sure that we got across today as we continue to walk through all of this?
Yeah. I mean, I just been thinking through that God has something for us in this season. So I've just been trying to listen, trying to see him in the small things, to see him in, whenever we go walk, we do like daily bike rides with our kids. They've loved the adventure of just exploring our area of Tulsa. And so like, they've loved that, to like, hey, I need to stop and talk with this neighbor. And I think we're building connection. Like, God, I'm listening to you more now than ever. And so just through his Holy Spirit, I think it's been good. I just think I want to encourage anybody listening to this, is that what is God calling you to do? It doesn't have to be mammoth. Yeah. But I just think about the gentleman from Midtown. It's like he had something in front of him that was just around. What can you do? I mean, one of the biggest blessings in isolation for us was people would bring games for the girls and put them on the front porch. Somebody ordered us a giant Connect 4 game. It was awesome.
That's cool.
Like chalk for the kids to play, or bubbles from my toddler. They would come out and they did chalk art in our driveway just so we could look out and see that, hey, we're here for you, Quarantine Henry. It was just such a blessing. And I want to say, be a blessing to somebody. You don't know how much it would mean for somebody to get in their text or their email. Hey, somebody gifted you $25 to DoorDash. You're like, gosh, what amazing. Or you go, hey, I'm going to send you some cheesecake today from Cheesecake Factory. That would bless me. You know what I mean? I'd bless you too, right?
Yes.
So just, even if it's just something to do that, like, let God use you. Just be generous. Now, what about you?
Well, I flipped to my Doc Geiger hat, and Doc.
I love Doc Geiger.
Yeah, Doc.
He's a great guy.
He's just an awesome encourager. And every morning he sends out text messages with videos in them of a poem that just is encouraging, and has these devotions that he shares. But the thing about Doc is he's always thinking about other people, and even inside this hat, there's a message that he wrote to me, and so, I got to be more like Doc, and got to be thinking about other people. And so thankful for everybody's listening today and being a part in everything that you're doing. And just don't give up, right? Just keep taking that next step. And we'll do it together. I love the hashtag that we're better together.
For sure.
We got to choose joy right now. Let's do that. Let's just keep choosing the joy and all the good things that God has for us in our lives.
That's good. Hey, on the way out, what are you reading right now? What's on or what are you listening to on a podcast?
Wow. Well, I read my Fitbit way too much, and so I want that to stop. I got to get past that. I just started a book by Beth Moore called To Live as Christ, which is about the life of Paul. With our staff team, we're reading a book called The Ideal Team Player. And then I just started a biblical, I went back to college kind of, and I'm taking a biblical Greek class. And so I'm enjoying that. I love a podcast by a guy named Stephen Mansfield called Great Man, and about just being everything that God called you to be. And so that's all been good for me.
That's cool.
Yeah. Wow.
That's great.
I think I did okay.
I don't know why you were nervous.
Yeah.
Like, you have a face for podcasts.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
You shouldn't have been nervous about that.
Yeah, God bless you.
You have a face for radio.
Yes. Thank God you have a beard.
Hey, you did great. I love you. Thanks for sharing today, buddy. It's been good friendship, and I hope, man, if you get a chance, shout out to Keith, at South Tulsa, and love what God's doing there for the kingdom and for the community. Hey, thanks so much for joining us today for Beyond Battlecreek. I hope that you enjoy getting to know Keith and I, and we look forward to seeing you around at some point at a campus, and I hope that God blesses you in the days to come. If you haven't yet, make sure you go check us out on all the socials. We got content that's phenomenal for all ages of the family, for you in the walk that you're in. Some encouragement that we're just dropping. Our creative and production team are crushing it this season.
And can I just say our staff teams?
For sure.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing.
It was a given. I mean, it was understood.
Wow.
But
so
thanks
thankful for them. Yes. So
crushing it. Lots of different work, skill sets that people didn't know they needed to have in their job. They're pivoting well. But I'm ready to get back to see people. I'm ready to go hug my campus. I saw a lady the other day, just one of my favorite people. And I was at our campus working, and she comes in, she's just on a neighborhood walk, and I just wanted to hug her so bad. And I'm like, I'll air high five you till the day comes. So
good stuff, man.
Until then, stay close to the word, stay close to each other, and we'll see you the next time we get together. Have a great week.
All right. God bless.
Hey, thanks for joining us for Beyond Battlecreek podcast. If you haven't already subscribed to this, make sure you share with anybody that you think this could be a blessing. Make sure you follow us on Facebook and Instagram.